Welcome to Be Well. We'll go ahead and take down that initial slide, Lisa. Thank you very much. Welcome. I'm Jonathan from Your Y, and really honored to have this opportunity today to bring to you a star athlete, a local star, Donnie Edwards, 13 years, NFL linebacker, Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs. Wonderful to see the success and the continued give back that we're going to get a chance to learn about today. So our topic is really Best Defense, which is Donnie Edwards Foundation. And it really is about honoring veterans every day. And I remember talking to Donnie just as we were getting prepared for this conversation, and his focus really was taking care of the ones who care for us. So with that, Donnie, welcome. Thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. You know, local kid, Phila Vista High School, El Toyon Elementary School, South Bay Pop Warner. I mean, born and raised here in the greatest city in the country, San Diego. And hey, I'm so honored. Big fan of the YMCA. We all grew up and, you know, and played sports there. And so lots of memories. So I'm honored to be here today.
Well, thank you, Donnie. I've been aware over time your give back to the youth in the community and a number of things that you've done along those lines. So I was real curious to learn about the Best Defense Foundation. And if you would, what was the impetus? What was your inspiration to start this foundation?
Well, as you know, growing up here in San Diego, it's a big military town. We have the naval base here and also Camp Pendleton. And all of my family served in the military, starting with my grandfather, Max Razzo, who's a Pearl Harbor survivor. And growing up without a father here in San Diego, he was essentially my father figure. And he was always putting in my ear, you know, you can achieve anything in this country with hard work. You can make it. Doesn't matter where you come from. If you want it, you can go get it. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. So all these things are always ringing in my ear. And, you know, he always said, you do the right thing, you work hard, you can achieve it. And lo and behold, you know, I set a goal to go to college, and thank God for Rick Giordano, my South Bay Pop Warner football coach, who told us that we could get a scholarship to go to college for free if we do well in school, don't get in trouble, and be the best player on the field, and you have an opportunity. And I figured that was my opportunity to, you know, to go on. And lo and behold, you put your head down, you do the right things, and I was able to get a scholarship to UCLA. And, you know, with that, going on to the pros. And by going on to the pros, you know, I had a lot of access to the military, and I'm always so fascinated for, you know, our military and also their families, because I understand the impact that it has. And I wanted to thank them. And looking back to my grandfather, Max Razzo, he's the whole impetus of starting the Best Defense Foundation. You know, our motto is taking care of the ones who took care of us. And obviously they took care of us. So now it's our turn to give back to those who gave so much to us. I mean, I think we are also fortunate to have the freedom and opportunity in this country. I mean, let alone like for myself to play football and to get educated, to get a master's in education from UCLA, and to have this platform to serve, to give back, which is just so important for me. So that's how it started. And
I really appreciate how you shine a light on those that serve. You know, as a country, we do it, you know, one day a year, Veterans Day, but this is something that you do throughout the year in a number of different ways. And I appreciate what you're sharing about your grandfather in the sense of those words in your ear, that inspiration. And obviously, that perseverance, that work ethic has led to phenomenal success on the field and also in the community. You pointed to or noted a moment ago about Pearl Harbor coming up, December 7th, being the 80th anniversary, and you're using that same perseverance to pull off a pretty phenomenal feat. If you'll share a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's pretty special to me. As you know, my grandfather, Max Razzo, he was a Pearl Harbor survivor. He was at the Schofield Barracks back December 7th, 1941, when we got bombed by the Japanese. And it's very special for him because when he passed away, he wanted to make sure that he wrote down that he wanted to be cremated and to be back at Pearl Harbor with all of his brothers and sisters that were lost December 7th. So it's very special to me because that's where, you know, he doesn't have a grave and his ashes are spread over Pearl Harbor. And it's going to be very exciting because this year for the 80th anniversary, Best Defense Foundation, we're taking 65 World War II veterans back to Hawaii for the 80th commemoration. And it's a big undertaking. Thank God for our partner, American Airlines, to provide a charter airplane for us to get us all over there. Without them, it would not be possible, and all the rest of our sponsors to make it happen. So this is for them. I mean, you got to understand, December 7th, 1941, for a lot of our men and women that served during World War II, that was their 9/11 for us as we see it, right? And that's when they raised their hand and said, I want to defend this country. And everybody knows back in World War II, all the veterans know exactly where they were on December 7th, 1941. They can tell you, I was riding a bike, I was at school, or I was even in Pearl Harbor. I was there. So it's very special. We want to make sure that we gave this opportunity to these veterans one last time.
And that's fantastic. That's a large collective that you're bringing back to have this experience. I know one of the programs that you offer under your foundation is, I think you call it Battlefield Return. And so this is an example of that. But if you will, share a little bit about maybe the psychology behind that Battlefield Return.
Yeah, it started with, this started back in the early 2000s. I was doing living history. I love history. And we had some veterans there. We're just sitting around having coffee, talking. And some of the veterans were talking about wanting to go back to Normandy. I'm like, you want to go back to Normandy? Like, absolutely. I said, why don't you go? And he said, oh, I'm too old. And this is when they're in their 80s. I'm too old. I can't afford it. I don't know what to do. And I said, I'll take you. And that's kind of how it started. Back in 2006, took some veterans back and then figured out that, this is really special for them, because when you are out there in Europe, these people were occupied by the Germans, and they understand you had all these Americans coming across who didn't speak their language to liberate them. And to have them come back to the country that they liberated is very special, because the people there, they don't forget, and they just want to kiss their hand, thank them, just show their appreciation and gratitude for being liberated. And it's really special. And I saw that, and there was thousands and thousands of people there. And, I started doing it. I was playing, for the Chargers at the time, and then with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I was kind of limited on my time. And once I retired, I just really committed myself to it, because I know time is running out, and a lot of these veterans in their twilight years of their life, and a lot of them never really talked about it. But once they started to talk about it and to realize, and then taking some guys back, they realized that they really want to go back. And the way that we did it is just bringing the guys and gals over there, the veterans that were there. We didn't bring family. It's a great opportunity for closure, camaraderie, and brotherhood. And for everyone, it's different. For everyone it's different. But the one thing that remains the same is that they're all together. They're back in the foxhole together. They're back on the team. And then they have this week or 10 days to really think about this and to lean on each other, to talk to each other. There's cheers, tears, and everything in between. And I'm just really happy that we are able to provide that opportunity. Going back to 2019, before the pandemic, we did 6 Battlefield Return programs, which was a pretty busy year, but time is ticking, and we wanted to make sure that we provided this opportunity for many of our veterans. So this year, this is our second program this year, coming after the pandemic. Back in July, we took 6 veterans to Germany for the resistance of Nazism, which is great. We had 4 Jewish veterans, 2 actually German-born Jews that were born in Germany that left before Hitler gained power. And it was just really special to have them come back full circle. And, I've been very fortunate to be around a lot of these men and to hear their stories. And I'm just truly grateful to have this opportunity to provide this platform for them to go back, in this environment for them to go back. So
well, that's really well said, Donnie. And I just look at what a powerful gift that you're offering. As you noted, some may never share about what that experience is like to be in battle and be in war. But as they come together with their brothers, that they went into it, it's a shared experience. And so their ability to come together and process some of that with some perspective and have further healing possibly, or that closure. What a tremendous gift that you've brought to them. I remember seeing a clip I think of you having some fun with them. I think one of the veterans like tackled you.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun being a linebacker yourself, and then to see
Yeah.
one of them, take you out playfully. I could just really see just the wonderful camaraderie that you help foster with them.
Yeah, we become friends. It's not just a one-off. We just don't take them back to the battlefield and just say thank you very much. We're always in contact with them. We're always checking on them, providing them opportunities to go to schools. Part of our other pillar is the education initiative, and make sure that they go out there and share their story with school children. So all of our Battlefield Return programs always incorporate a school visit. We have 3 schools that we're going to go to next month in December. So that's really, really important. It's just, I got to tell you, it's really special. And, looking back, if you go to Best Defense Foundation, our YouTube page, we have almost 100 videos on there. You can see it right from the battlefield. You can hear it right from the veteran's mouth and what it means to them. Instead of me talking about it, you can see them going back to where, the last memory that they have, like Russell Pickett, who was first wave at Omaha Beach. So you think about Saving Private Ryan. I mean, he was coming out there with the flamethrower, and the last thing he remembers is waking up in a hospital in England, and to bring him back in 2019 for the 75th anniversary of D-Day, and to take him back to the same beach and the same objective that he had. I mean, it's just so powerful. And, when he just says, thank you so much for getting me here, I think we've done our job, and unfortunately we lost Russell Pickett less than a year after that program, but I'm just really happy to give him that opportunity and closure. And you can see it on a YouTube page, Best Defense Foundation YouTube page, and you can hear it right from his mouth. So, and that puts a smile on my face to give him that opportunity to close the book and get that recognition and honor.
Truly, to be able to have that experience before his life is complete. I like what you were sharing, Donnie, about the educational initiative. A sense of truly preserving that living history, and also to have veterans to be able to share what that was like with school age, so that history carries on, that experience is carried on, and also they get an opportunity to be honored. And so that's a phenomenal opportunity that you provide that opening for them to share that with the youth of today, so that we don't forget and we continue to honor every day.
I mean, think about the perspective, right? So some of the veterans that we've taken back, like there's a Iwo Jima survivor. His name is Ronald Sharoff. So Ronald, I mean, he had his 16th birthday in Iwo Jima. So wow. He was a coxswain, the landing craft, right? The landing craft bringing all the Marines to the shore. He was, driving the landing craft and got blown up. He had his 16th birthday out there. So think about it. And I always like bring this to the attention of the kids. I said, especially like the high school kids, I said, how old are you? Oh, I'm 15, I'm 16. I said, okay, you're 16 years old. Imagine being halfway around the world, serving your country, being responsible for 20 plus Marines inside a landing craft. I mean, it's pretty, I mean, when you put it in that perspective, and you see how young these kids are, and you think about what we as a generation right now are thinking about what's important for us, like how many followers you have on Instagram and that kind of stuff. And think about what Ronald Sharoff did, when he was 16 years old, 75 years ago. It's just incredible. It really is incredible.
Exactly. It puts things in perspective in a very different way. As you said, a young adolescent in some ways taking on and carrying that responsibility, life and death situation, not only themselves, but those under their charge. And so what a gift for our youth to be able to touch into some of that. Now, I know you do some things in terms of supporting veterans in transition as well. So into civilian life, can you share a little bit of the work in that space?
Yeah, so we focus on our special forces, like the team guys, Green Berets and Army Rangers. I mean, and we connect them with NFL players. So last year we had earlier this year, we had our inaugural transition program, and it was a huge success. We had 12 special forces along with 4 NFL players. And I mean, there's so many commonalities of what we go through with change and transition, especially after you leave the game, right? You hang up your cleats, you hang up your uniform, and no longer you have that that team aspect that you had for your whole entire life. And we kind of lean on each other. And it's interesting too, because when you're done, when you're out of it, you're missing something. You really can't articulate it. You're like, there's something missing here. And that's the brotherhood, right? That's the camaraderie with your guys. And unfortunately, we go through a lot of change in our life. And before, we can lean on our guy. And then when you get done, you don't have a team and you have to lean on yourself. And sometimes that's very challenging. So it's important that we understand our purpose, our identity, our goals, and get that foundation of stability for the health and wellness so that we can move on to our next chapter in our lives. And just taking time to reflect, without family, without wives, without anything, just to spend that time together to focus on ourselves and to help each other out moving forward. And I'm really excited. That's going to be our biggest pillar moving forward as we transition out of our World War II veterans battlefield returns. So it's going to be a priority for us to help. And I can tell you, for the last 8 years, I've been working for the NFL with our transition program. So there's so many commonalities and similarities. And I mean, the synergy is right there. I mean, it's pretty incredible, the relationship and the respect that we have for one another.
That's a beautiful way of supporting transition. Transitions for all of us in life are challenging, but as you said, to have others that are walking that with you to provide that support, what a wonderful opportunity you're providing in that particular way. Donnie, how those
done by our 30s though, right? Think about it. So we have this. I mean, you're at the tip of the spear, right? You're the top of the tip of the spear. And then even for us being pro athletes, I mean, we're at the top, and then all of a sudden, like with injury, there's so many elements that can happen where all of a sudden you're 29, 30 years old and like, okay, your dream is done. There's no going back. I mean, we all love to stay in it, stay in the fight, but there's things that are out of our control. And then you're young, you're looking back, and it's very difficult to continue to look forward. So you have to it's a process, and it's challenging, as you know. I mean, we have our issues too. We lost some very notable people in the NFL, and I want to make sure that we learn from that to say, hey, we need to help each other out and push each other up and lift each other up and be connected and be together. And that's what we're trying to do with the Best Defense Foundation Transition Program.
That's fair. And the analogy that you made, because like soldiers and like in professional sport, you may not be planning your retirement. It could be an injury. There's a whole variety of different things that come to play. So you appreciate what you have while you have it. And then you may be thrust upon being in that transition of life. So to have that brotherhood, sisterhood of support as you walk forward is critical.
Yes, for sure.
How do people get involved with, if people are moved by what you're doing, how do people get involved? I know you do honor walks, but how can people get involved with you?
I tell you right now, Jonathan, we are a 100% all volunteer foundation. So we have volunteers that are stepping up, that understand our mission, and they understand why we do it. They have purpose behind it, and they have the passion, which is so special, because we're only as good as our community, right? Volunteers. We want to make sure that all the monies that come in go directly back out to our veterans and veteran programs for sure. But I'll tell you, I mean, things are going well. We are growing. Obviously we have 65 World War II veterans going to Holland, and we have a couple more programs lined up for next year as well, along with transition programs. And once the schools start opening up, things are growing. And I think moving forward, as with growth, we need to have more full-time people there involved and being able to move things along. The only thing that's holding us back right now is funding. Like I said, if you go to bestdefensefoundation.com or bdf.com, like I said, we honor, recognize, and celebrate our veterans. So any type of support helps us continue to grow and to continue to impact more and more veterans. I mean, from the oldest to the youngest that are coming out. And, we're going to be doing Vietnam coming up as well to make sure those guys get their respect, closure, camaraderie, and brotherhood that they never got. So I'm excited for the future. Just need your help so we can continue our growth.
Great. Well, obviously, I support you, and we'll share the word and get it out there. You're doing phenomenal things in the community, Donnie. Really, really appreciate what you've done and continue to do. And I wish you a fantastic journey over to Pearl Harbor with your 65 colleagues, so to speak, the fellow soldiers that you're bringing over there. But really value what you're doing and the mindset of why you're doing it and honoring our veterans every day. So. Anything in closing, sir?
Well, we are all blessed to be an American. I mean, this flag right here is what connects us all. You know, America is a very special country. We come from all walks of the life of the earth, but there's one thing that remains true that binds us together as Americans, and that's the red, white, and blue there. So, you know, we're all one. And if we all believe in pushing each other to be the best that we can always continue to grow. And I mean, just one last thing about our team. I just want to recognize all of our volunteers and all of our sponsors to help make this happen, because, you know, without them, this is not possible. So we're changing lives and, you know, moving forward and giving so many men and women that served in World War II an opportunity to find that ultimate closure at no cost to them. So once again, thank you to all of our sponsors and all of our volunteers for making this happen, because only without them, this is not possible. So thank you guys. And remember, God bless America, the greatest country in the world. You know, if you're born in this country, you won, you're a victor. And I truly believe that. You know, there's so much opportunity that we can achieve. If we work hard and work together, we can achieve anything.
Well, very, very well said. I really am grateful for your time today and sharing about the Best Defense Foundation. I know things are busy. You've got something right in front of you happening, but really value your time today. Donnie, wish you well. Take care. Have a fantastic trip. Thank you all, everybody. And until we meet again, please be well.